All right, we're gonna try this coffee back at Lake Angeline thing once again. I have everything packed up, including beans, water, way to heat water, and we're gonna do a pour over out there. But we got to get there first, and I intend to go all the way back to where I was. It's about 1.5 miles or so. Let's get out there. So it was supposed to get less and less cloudy. I don't know if you can see this, but it's raining on me, which is actually cool. I don't mind it at all. For photography, adverse weather tends to make things a little more interesting. For making coffee, it made things a little uncomfortable because planned out a pour over and that might get a little messy, but we're gonna try it. The weather says it's supposed to get clearer as we get closer to sunset. So in the meantime, we're gonna do a little photography. I brought the wildlife lens and a couple other lenses in the bag and lots of things to make coffee with. So let's go do that. As soon as I ended that last clip, some kind of fledgling landed on a branch right in front of me. So I took a few shots. If I can identify it, I'll throw up the photo and show you what it is. Something young. It looked like it could have been a sparrow, but I'm not too sure. We'll check it out. I did hear a couple other things, so I'm just kind of waiting. I'm gonna also keep moving soon because it's windy and I don't know how much light I'm gonna have towards sunset, so I want to make sure we get everything. It's nice to be out though. So it is a whole lot more lush out here than I'm used to. If you'll remember, I got up here around December, mid-December, so in the middle of winter, and started coming out here. When I first got here, there weren't any leaves on the trees. So it's getting a lot more crowded with foliage and greenery, and that's great. It's really nice. Just to be able to shoot in a different scenario season by season. And it's also the 6-month anniversary of me working at Dead River Coffee today, which is pretty sweet. I can't believe half a year's gone by already. So anyway, the wind's still blowing. I don't hear many birds, but I'm walking kind of slow, taking my time through some of the areas that I know tend to have birds. I'm not sure how the microphone on this phone is going to handle this wind right now, but sorry, I see something small fluttering over the lake. Could be like a sandpiper or something. I caught photos of a sandpiper a week or two ago, and oh, it could be swallows actually. They don't seem quick enough to be swallows. Be right back. Yeah, those were tree swallows. Nothing too close to me at the moment, but maybe in a bit when I go down towards the water. I wanted to show you guys something though that really sucks. Last time I was out here, I had to cut my trip short. I found a bunch of these holes. Let's see. Somebody was out here just digging holes. Not sure what they're looking for. We're around areas that have mines, so like I don't know if somebody was just thinking they're gonna start digging for copper, silver, nickel, I don't know, geodes, whatever. But it was a couple of weeks ago. I think it was Memorial Day weekend, actually. Memorial Day, I think. I was out here and noticed the holes, and the person who was digging them was still on the trail. Their car was here. They had a dog with them. I didn't approach them, but it was really just kind of crazy that they were digging these holes. Some of them are as deep as my knees and wider than, 3 feet or so. And that's a hazard to people. There's people that walk these trails every day. There's people that bike ride on these trails that access the mountain biking trails up the hill a little bit. And those people, if they're going a little too fast, might not see these huge holes that have been dug. So it's really just sad, aggravating that someone would come out here and just dig holes right on the trail, right on the path for someone to trip in, not refill the holes. They even had a campfire in the hole, left some garbage in the hole and around the hole. Some people really suck. So on my way out, I'm gonna take their trash out. But for now, I'm gonna come down to this water access. I can see some of these tree swallows having fun on the surface of the lake. So if we get anything, maybe some of these swallows. Not easy. They're pretty small birds, like that big. You probably can't see them from that camera, but there's probably like a dozen of them right in front of me. Only problem is they're about 100 feet out. So even at 600 millimeters, I can't really fill much of the frame with them, but I'm getting some shots. Nothing too interesting because they're so far out though. I think I'm gonna move on, but it's fun. It's challenging, they're fast. One of my favorite things about Michigan's Upper Peninsula, the further west you go, the more interesting the geological structures tend to be. I'm talking about rocks, baby. Look, I mean, cliffs, there's elevation, there's moss on rocks. As a nature photographer, especially someone who loves intimate details, I can't get over this stuff. And there's lots of it here. Like I said, there's mines, there's hills, there's not mountains, but we've got some elevation, really cool rocks, rock faces. I gush over it. Anyway, just thought I'd show you guys cool stuff. Not what I'm here to shoot today. I've shot lots of it. I've been on this trail probably 24 times now since we've moved here. Love it though. Onward. That's a Vireo. Was hearing a flycatcher earlier. Vireo, I'm not sure how to say it. But they're not close. And I don't even know if you can hear them. I don't think so. Vireos sound kind of robotic. Like a... kind of like a saw. Like a saw run through a messy digital filter. They're small, kind of like a warbler. Less round though. Anyway. Not too certain what that is. I might take out Merlin to identify that one. There's a louder, more whistle-like. I think I'm in the right spot though. They sound really high up. Okay, that first bird was a veery, that robotic saw type sounding bird. Similar to a vireo, same type of bird. Just one that I see much less frequently, so not one that I was able to identify. Ovenbird was out there too. I didn't get any shots. I did see the ovenbird for like 2 seconds. Ovenbird kind of looks like if you crossed a warbler with a sparrow. Still kind of small, brownish, whitish, sometimes a little spotty. Cool birds. Anyway, I might pick a spot coming up here soon, because I know in the next 10 minutes of walking I'm going to open myself up to the lake again, and I'd rather not do that, so I got to find a decent spot with some space. All right, I found a decent spot to sit down at. I can hear a couple birds. It is also a clearing right here, so if the birds don't work out, I'll just start making coffee. Just had something fly right Well, the only thing I was able to shoot was a chickadee a couple of times. Had one really good perch on a birch straight ahead of me there. I'll show you that photo now because I think it's pretty nice. But I did hear a kingfisher, belted kingfisher. He went right in front of me. So I know they're out here too. I've seen them before. This isn't a horrible spot to watch. If I had my waders on, I could get out in the water, which is right in front of me here. I'm right in front of the lake access here, but I'm protected by a bunch of trees. But it's kind of thick in there, so if I ever wanted to chase kingfisher out here, I'd have to test it out first and see what I have access to beyond these trees in the water. There's a couple of little island pieces out there that could be good for that purpose, if I can get to them. But if I wanted to do that, I would want to do it at sunrise, which means I'd have to be here at like 4 in the morning to make this hike to this spot by sunrise. Summer is brutal. I'm not sure what that was. Some bigger bird just swooped down in front of me. It's bigger than a robin. This is not a bad spot. I bet it's pretty good in the morning, on a calm morning. The fact that I'm seeing any birds right on the lake here with this wind is something, but on a calm sunrise, this is probably a great spot. All right, I think it's time for some coffee. I think that's a grosbeak making noise in front of me. Maybe not. I'm not super familiar with that call. I'm gonna try to ignore it. Although I do have the camera right here, just in case. I'll leave it on. You never know. Time to get focused on some coffee. Dead River Blend. We're doing a pour over, and I'm excited because I'm using a device I got at SCA for free. Thanks to the kind folks at North Star Leasing. They we're handing out the Myrrh flat travel pack down. Look how flat that is. Pour over kit. Takes up essentially no space in a bag, which is really nice. This might actually be the most space-saving way to pack a pour over device you can get. So anyway, let's open this up. And it's 3 panels, 3 flat aluminum panels. Myrrh, this is a company I've heard of, M-I-I-R. I've never used them before, but I have a buddy, Corey, who uses them, or has in the past. Actually, he brought one with him to a workshop we did a couple falls ago, which was really cool. So I've been wanting one since. I wanted one before then, but I think they're like $40-something to buy. And I was talking to the guys at North Star Leasing because they were all alone in like this back corner of SCA talking to nobody, because who wants to talk to bankers at a coffee expo? But they specialized in leasing equipment for coffee roasteries and different businesses of similar fashion. And he had a bunch of these to hand out. I asked what he had, and because I could see on the table he had different things they were giving away. And he said, do you do pour overs? And I said, of course. He's like, do you go camping? I said, of course. And he said, take one of these. And he's like, do you go camping with anybody else? And I was like, yeah, usually me and my wife and the kids. And he gave me 2. So I got 2 of them, which is pretty cool. So I'm gonna use it. I've been wanting one for a long time. So brought the kettle. I kind of brought everything. I even brought my Time More scale, because I didn't want to try to find AAAs for my small espresso scale. So we brought that. I brought 20 grams of beans I have to hand grind, so that'll be fun. We'll do that before we start getting the water warmed up, because it's going to take me a lot longer to grind those than it is to heat up this water. But I got the jet boil. I got a fairly new can of gas. Plenty in there I can hear. I should probably get a new jet boil soon. I can see some rust lining the bottom. Not a lot, but I'll rinse it out. Yeah, that's no good. Hopefully it filters out with the filter. Trusty old jet boil. Okay. So, I'm just going to go ahead and start grinding while I listen for birds and while they get annoyed by me grinding. Oh, I need to adjust this for pour over. Right now it's set to espresso, AeroPress, espresso, PicoPresso, the Mini Presso. Those Wakako devices, the Mini Presso and the Pico Presso, are really cool, and they use a very similar grind size to the AeroPress, so I keep it on that, but that'll be too fine for pour over. You want relatively the coarseness of sand for pour over, and you can fine tune that to your taste, but sand is good. The grind size here is much finer, so we got to adjust. So to do that on the Hario Mini Slim Pro, remove it from the container here, and there's a little knob you just got to turn. Right now it's like second to the finest for me for AeroPress, so I need to go the other way. And I'll need to test it to make sure before I commit to all 20 grams, because 20 grams is all I got. Let's see. Oh, that's pretty coarse. We're gonna want to go back the other way. Whew. I'll do the rest in my hand because I'm not gonna be sure what I just did. That looks much better. All right. Got it about right. If it's not perfect, oh well. It's close enough. It's gonna taste great. Okay. Looks pretty good. Still fairly coarse. This might be a little under extracted if I'm honest, but it should taste okay. Smells good. I only roasted this about 3 days ago, so it's gonna be some good stuff. Set that aside for the moment. We've got 20 grams in there, so we need to do, let's see, 20 times 10 is 200, about 300 grams of water for a 1 to 15 ratio, if my math is right. Oh yes. My water's in here. Didn't forget that either. I thought I forgot it for a second there. Almost got me again. We're gonna do about 300 and let's say 50 grams. We're gonna burn 50 to warm up my container. This pretty cool little tumbler from Camelback, branded with Dead River Coffee on one side, which is neat. We sell these at the shop. The bottom half comes off and you've got a nice stainless steel cup. I don't always prefer drinking out of stainless steel, to be quite honest, but when you're out in nature, I think about the nuances less and appreciate the coffee for what it is a lot more. So I am totally okay with that today. So let's get this water going. Jet boil. I talk to you frequently when I take this thing out. I will be buying a new one, don't worry. I love your product, but make a pour over spout attachment. Just something, if it's another top I can buy, make an attachment so I don't have to bring this guy with me too. Something that is simple, attaches to the top so I can just pour with a nice pour over spout from the top of the jet boil. Do that for me. I'll buy that. We'll hold that over here though. Okay, let's get this thing lit. Hopefully my igniter is okay. Let's see. Gas on. Maybe not. Hey, there we go. So we're gonna let that boil all the way. Don't quite have temperature control with the jet boil, but that's all right. Oh, let's get the MRR set up here. Okay, so you just attach it. See if I remember how. Okay, I think I got it. There we go. That felt good. Sits like so. So if I pour 50 in here, wet the filter, warm up the cup, that'll leave me 300 to give me my 1 to 15 ratio that I have been liking for a while. Now you can do a 1 to 17 ratio. You can go tighter, 1 to 13, 1 to 14 if you really like a strong cup. But I've found for a long time that 1 to 15 is where I prefer to be for most pour overs. Hey, there we go. Okay. Gonna make sure that's nice and hot. Whoa. That was close. This little fuel canister is not the one that is sold by Jetboil, so it's not perfectly set on there. Almost lost it. Okay, we're nice and hot. Let's get our 50 grams poured in. 48.4. I'm gonna say that's good enough. Get the rest poured in here. Cover that. Dump that water out. Get our grounds in. Work pretty quickly because this is going to cool down and I don't want it to be cold by the time I get to drinking it. And we're going to start to bloom. Double the weight of the water to coffee for the bloom, so 40 grams of water in for bloom. And I'll bring you guys in close to see some of this process. See, the wind's blowing a little bit. I was a little nervous. The wind shifted directions from another direction that's more open to the lake, where I was shooting just over there. All right, it's calmed down a little bit. Continue that pour. I gotta get some agitation here. Hang on. Agitation just helps the extraction along a little bit, especially because we have some pretty coarse grinds in there. I really should have tightened that down a little bit more. But our time's not going to be terrible. I just want to agitate to make sure that we're really going to get an extraction that's worth drinking out of this. Now, I got to say, the MER system, not bad so far. Okay, that seems to be all my water. Set that aside. See those chunky bits in there? Really should have tightened that down. I don't know how I let that go through. Oh, maybe, you know what? Those were the grounds at the very bottom where it was too coarse. Because when I dumped that in, those would have been sitting at the bottom to make it on the top of on the coffee bed now. So maybe I'm okay, but I'm seeing a lot of very, very coarse bits. So this could be pretty under extracted, but we're going to continue to help that along with some more agitation. All right, I'm going to put you down now. Whew, wow, some very coarse coffee. That's okay though. That's pretty much done. Pretty cool system. Very, very lightweight, but each metal plate is heavy enough that I wouldn't be too worried if the wind continued again. All right, let's set that there for now. Let's see what we got. Smells pretty good. Oh yeah, that's great. That's really good. Even though those chunky pieces of coffee were pretty coarse, not under extracted. The agitation helped, I'm sure. Going all the way up to boiling probably helped too, although transferring from the jet boil to the pour over kettle definitely is going to bring the temperature down a little bit. Probably in the order of 5 to 8, maybe 10 degrees even. So if I went from 212 to 202, that's going to affect things. But it's pretty good. I think at home I would have extracted a little more, but it's very, very nice and balanced. It's got a sweetness to it, and it's not bitter at all, and that's because it's not over extracted. It's really, really enjoyable. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit here, drink this coffee, enjoy it. And I want to thank you guys for sticking with me through this one. Hang on one moment. A northern flicker just flew right by me. I think that's what probably flew in front of me that was a little bigger than a robin. Like I said, they are just about a little bigger than a robin. Glad I left this on. If you enjoy it, thank you. Leave a like on the video if you do. And if you don't enjoy it, I don't know why you're still here. So anyway, thanks guys. I'm gonna finish up here and we'll see you in the next one.